What's going on? Mitchell Renz, Tom Downey coming at you, NFL Daily, the latest news and rumors, and this show is jam-packed with questions, so make sure you're interacting with us in the comment section below. Tom, I don't know if you saw this one. Chase Young, is he going top 3?
I did see this report, and my initial reaction was, well, duh. Of course he's going top 3. Now, I get it. Rapport says, hey, none of the teams outside the top 3 even contacted him, which is noteworthy, but like, duh. You can argue Burrow or Young is the best prospect this year. Doesn't matter. They're both clearly the 2 best in this year's class. The Redskins will probably end up taking him at 2. And if he's still on the board, guess what? The Lions are, well, I guess metaphorically sprinting to the podium, but they're getting that pick in a heartbeat. It's a no-brainer. So, like, yeah, he's going to end up going top 3. That's not really a huge shocker, and it should not be whatsoever.
But the report was that the Redskins, they might draft a quarterback. Now, producer Alicia says, no way, Jose. But Rappaport did said there was a possibility of them drafting a QB at 2. We know that right now Ron Rivera doesn't have a lot of connections with Dwayne Haskins. However, Haskins is set to be part of the team's virtual draft party. That would be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I don't normally try to read too much into like the social media stuff, like, oh, well, this player wasn't in this photo, therefore he's not a part of the team long term. But for a virtual draft party, I feel pretty confident saying that the organizers in charge made sure, like, hey, Haskins is our guy, right? Like, he's the quarterback, right? We're not going to take 2 at 2? Okay, cool. The Redskins, I would be stunned if they went quarterback at number 2. Chase Young might not fill their biggest need, but you simply take the best player on the board if you're the Redskins. Ron Rivera loves defense. You can get him in early. It's a no-brainer call for the Redskins. Take him at number 2, and then figure out the rest of your draft and organization after that.
So here are the top quarterbacks in the 2020 NFL Draft. It is expected that Joe Burrow, he's going to be gone, number 1, to the Cincinnati Bengals. So then, hypothetically speaking, if you're the Redskins, you're picking between Chase Young, Tua, Justin Herbert, maybe Jordan Love. I mean, I think Tom and I have made our points very, very clear that if we were running the Washington Redskins organization, and you know what? Maybe Tom and I would be better GMs. I'm just saying.
I would be.
Yeah, Tom's like, oh, I'm definitely on board for that. So we're going to hit you with a lot of questions on today's show. So again, make sure you go down in the comments and answer every single one. Who should the Redskins take at number 2? We want you to type C for Chase Young or Q for a quarterback. Tom?
I'm typing in my C for Chase Young. Look, the Redskins are actually in pretty good shape at edge between Ryan Kerrigan and between Montez Sweat long term. You take the better player, though. You are a team that is clearly rebuilding. Chase Young's the best player you can get. I would explore trade down. That would be part of my job as a front office decision maker. But I'm just going to take the guy I think the Redskins probably are going to have as the number 1 guy on their board. If you can get that guy at pick number 2, I think you have to end up doing it. Oh, by the way, when it comes to quarterbacks, we didn't rank those quarterbacks. Stay tuned for later on in the show, and we will.
Bingo, bingo. I'm going to agree with you, Tom. I think it'd be smart for the Redskins to take Chase Young. I think when you're in a division like the NFC East, there's a lot of good quarterbacks there. Go get somebody that can go get a lot of those quarterbacks. So speaking of the NFL Draft, Tom, I don't know if you saw this tweet from Adam Schefter. A concern has emerged in recent days. There are certain coaches and front office staffers reluctant to have their IT employees in their homes for the fear of the virus spreading, and vice versa. Some IT employees are concerned about going into other homes to equip them for the draft. I'll also make this point. I think most companies would be a little bit worried about their IT specialists coming into their homes.
That's fair. I understand the concerns. I get it. But here's an idea, Mitch. If you're worried about transmitting the disease and you're worried about the IT guy coming in, these owners are billionaires. Just buy a hazmat suit. Send it to the IT guy, get it in. I bet you can do a rush shipping. You're billionaires. You can make it work. So look, I understand the concerns from the coaches, from the front office about transmitting it. I understand that. I get that. This, I don't think, should really be a big issue when it comes to the NFL draft. Like, you'll be okay. Have your wife hop off the Wi-Fi for the rest of the day while you're doing the draft, just like your girlfriend hops off when you're doing your fantasy draft. I think you'll end up being okay.
So what do you guys think about the percentages here, okay? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. What are the chances the NFL draft gets postponed? So for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you might get hit with an ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to just scroll on down, okay? And I want you to comment here the chances of the NFL draft getting postponed. So rate it from a 0 to 100% down there in the comment section. Let's get in now to this one, Tom. We're talking about Yannick Ngakoue. Of course, that's what we do here on NFL Daily. The latest around him, Adam Schefter, he was on a radio station in Philadelphia, 97.5, and he said that he believes the Jags not only have to trade Ngakoue, but he thinks the Eagles are not a likely destination.
I agree with everything Schefter says there. I think that a Yannick trade might make the most sense, probably in the week leading up to the draft or potentially during the draft if a team in the back end of round 1, early round 2, doesn't find the edge rusher that they want. The Eagles have always been super aggressive, but I think they're in okay shape at defensive end. And looking at long term, they have to be smart with the moves that they make in terms of spending their money. I don't know if they are going to be willing or even potentially able, in terms of likelihood, to pay a top-end edge rusher like Yannick when they've already paid other players on that defense and offense.
I mean, they've been very aggressive, and I know that Yannick wants out of Jacksonville. So here are the top destinations for Yannick. This is according to Adam Schefter. He does say the Eagles, but he also says the Eagles are the least likely out of the 5 teams. So he also said the Seahawks, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Cleveland Browns, and the New York Giants. Which team, Tom, out of those 4 are you like, really? That surprises me.
The Raiders, I think, just because of what they've invested at defensive end already. I don't know if that's a huge need. I think entering the offseason, they made a little bit more sense there. The Browns, I think, are a good sleeper fit. The Giants desperately need an actual edge. I think Seattle might make a lot of sense, especially if they don't end up retaining Clowney. I saw this in the comments. I forgot the name, and I'm sorry. I think his name was Mason who mentioned it. I think the Vikings actually make some sense as a sleeper. They have the draft pick capital.
Yeah, they got picks 22 and 25, 12 picks total. It'd be really interesting. So where will Yannick Ngakoue play in 2020? For those of you that are watching this live on Facebook and on YouTube, we appreciate you. But as I said in the beginning of the show, a jam-packed show with a lot of questions. So scroll on down and answer where you think Yannick is going to play in 2020. Tom, bold prediction? No, not even bold prediction. What's your prediction?
I'll go with Seattle. I think there is a draft night trade.
I'm going to go Cleveland Browns. That's going to be my prediction. So let us know where Yannick's going to play in 2020. Yannick Ngakoue, that means now we obviously have to talk about Jadeveon Clowney, because I do think Jadeveon Clowney in this situation is going to be like the domino effect, a lot of what we saw with Tom Brady in free agency. So the report came out that Clowney returning to Seattle is slim to none. This one is from Mike Garafolo.
That's an interesting report, given that I was under the impression there was still a decent chance it happens, but Mike knows what he's talking about. Seattle's in an awkward spot where they kind of got to make a decision quickly here. Now, they added Bruce Irvin. That's not really a true long-term Clowney replacement, but if Clowney's not, back with Seattle before the draft, I think that report might end up being very accurate, because Seattle might move on to a Yannick in a trade or take somebody in round 1 or round 2. If Clowney waits till after the draft, I think that might hurt his market more than maybe he thinks it could. And I think it might increase that it's a 1-year deal as well.
I even think, to be honest, the Seahawks have already kind of do it. Now, I don't think Bruce Irvin is what he used to be, but he can still at least get after the edge. And another player that I think could really hurt Jadeveon Clowney's stock is Everson Griffin. Because if I'm saying right now, Everson Griffin's out there, you got a player like Yannick Ngakoue. Now, sure, you got to trade for Yannick. But Jadeveon Clowney, he's talented and all, but I don't know, man. I not quite sure. So before we tell you some top destinations for Clowney, I do want to say this. If you are stuck at home like Tom and I, we post daily videos every single day here on our main Chat Sports channel. So subscribe for free entertainment for the next 365 days. If you can't find the big red button that says subscribe, we'll put it in the comments section. We'll put it in the description below. We're trying to have fun too. And if you're stuck at home, come join us for live shows every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right, as promised, the top Clowney destinations. I think the Ravens are a team, the Colts, the Giants, the Browns. I think they all stick out. They've been pretty active also when it comes to looking for an edge rusher in free agency. But these aren't the only 4 teams. I understand the report that came out that says that it's not likely that he goes back to Seattle. However, we did make a video about a month ago, Tom, where we had the top Clowney destinations. There is still a part of me where I think Clowney wants to go to Seattle. So that's why they're still here on this list. The Titans have shown interest, the Jets, and if he ends up going to Buffalo, that'd be one fun defense.
Yeah, I think Tennessee makes a lot of sense for maybe some more, multiple looks in terms of their base 3-4 defense, if you will. It's base, doesn't matter. You just use, 5 DBs these days anyway. But I think Tennessee and Cleveland jump out to me as really good fits for Clowney. Either of those spots I think would be a great home for him. Imagine Cleveland saying goodbye to Olivier Vernon, adding Clowney and pairing him with Myles Garrett. That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to watch. Oh, my Lord. So we just talked about Yannick. We just talked about Jadeveon Clowney. And you guys know the drill. Go down in the comments and give me an N for Yannick Ngakoue or give me a C for Jadeveon Clowney. Who's the better player? Me, Tom, I'm typing N.
Yeah, I'm going to type in my N, but very narrowly here. The issues with Clowney, his production last year declined amid the injury. I worry both about them a little bit. I don't love paying either $20 million, but I think Yannick has proven to be a more consistent pass rusher in terms of sacks, and that's what's more valuable to me. So even though it's close, I'm thumbing in my N as well.
I would also want to build my team around Yannick Ngakoue, to be honest, a lot more than I would want to build it around Jadeveon Clowney. If you guys need a new NFL jersey, go to chatsports.com/NFL jersey, where right now we got unbelievable deals, not just on these Color Rush jerseys. We got all players, all sizes, all teams, unbelievable jersey deals. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey is the link. You can find it in the description below. You can find it in the comments below. But Tom, this isn't the only jersey that we're showing today.
It is not. There are also Tom Brady Bucks jerseys. Now, these are not on sale. However, you can get them for as cheap as $80 if you go to chatsports.com/Brady Bucks. This is not part of the normal sale deal going on right now. However, even though these jerseys normally cost upwards of $100 right now, you can get it for $80, but you got to use that link, chatsports.com/Brady Bucks. Do not worry. We'll put that in the comments and the description. Those of you that want a brand new Tom Brady jersey. Now, speaking of Tom Brady, Mitchell, he had a very lengthy interview on Howard Stern and revealed some rather interesting tidbits on it.
Yeah, it was about a 2-hour-long interview, and this is like his first real interview since becoming a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he discussed all sorts of topics. Some were, kind of funny, where he talks about his home with Derek Jeter. He even made a joke of why he wasn't able to get Wi-Fi. It was Derek Jeter's fault. But for me, I listened to the entire interview, and for me, I had 5 big takeaways. What were the big takeaways that Stern really laid into? For some reason, they were absolutely fascinated with him renting a home or renting Derek Jeter's house. And then the other thing was he considered leaving Michigan for Cal when he played college football. The biggest reason why he didn't want to disappoint his father, which we know how involved he is with his dad. The other thing that I thought was pretty interesting was he said he doesn't care about his legacy with the New England Patriots. That's why he decided to go to Tampa Bay. But I also think he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder where he wants to prove to people that it is more of a Tom Brady being a winner than Bill Belichick. I don't care what anyone says. If you're a competitor, you want to go down as the GOAT. And if Tom does go out and win this year, he's going to end up, in my opinion, going down as the GOAT.
I think he already is, although I do kind of wonder if you really want to go prove that, maybe you shouldn't have waited until you were at the end of your career to go make that change. But it kind of sounded like Brady had a good feel that he was going to leave the Patriots and that Belichick was maybe kind of okay with it, actually, Mitch.
Then the other points that I had were Giselle asked Tom to step up with his family. Obviously, he doesn't have much to prove left for his NFL career. He is going to turn 43 this offseason. So, hey, need to step up a little more with your family. And then at the end, it was Trump apparently asked Brady to speak at this RNC back in 2016. So here was the tweet from Ian Rappaport. Tom Brady says on Howard Stern that Donald Trump asked him to speak at the Republican convention in 2016, which Brady declined to do. The political support is totally different from the support of a friend. I didn't want to get into all the political. So, Tom, obviously, we're going to ask this question, and we want everyone who's watching right now to vote, pick a side, D or R.
Look, I think it's clearly R for Brady. That was the Republican National Convention, by the way, that Trump apparently asked Brady to go speak at. I will make note that Brady has been photographed before with a Make America Great hat at his locker room. So he's kind of already, dabbled into that just a little bit. It's all interesting to me, Mitch, because that is a very fine line to walk if you're a player. Because no matter which side you end up picking, you upset 50% of people, maybe 45% of people, because there's always, some of the independents out there. But I think he's making the right call, trying as best he can to stay away from all that.
I totally agree, but we want you to pick a side, D or R, throw it. What, Tom? By
the way, just so we're clear, D for Downey, R for Renz. I think people might have been confused in the comments. It's D for Downey, R for Renz, okay? Disappointed at the lack of D's in the comments.
And if you're typing D for Downey, go give him a follow on Twitter at @WhatGoingDowney. So the Atlanta Falcons, they released some new uniforms the day after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers released theirs. And I don't really know how I feel about them. I don't really like them, Tom. They don't look good.
The Falcons released them because they got leaked. They leaked the day that the Falcons were like, hey, yeah, we're going to have these jerseys coming out on April 14th, and they immediately leaked on Twitter. There's some ups and downs here. The all black is okay. I don't love the red strap. I actually kind of dig the black top and the white pants. I think that's a really good combo, and the socks too. I hate the fade though, Mitch. The fade from red to black, I don't think plays. It's bad.
I think it's cheesy. I think it's how the Jags were the first team to try to do this with the helmet, and it failed miserably. So why would you try to do it, in my opinion, in a jersey? I like how it says ATL. Personally, for me, I'm not a big fan of red, but I also think it was leaked because it came a day after the Buccaneers decided to release their jerseys, and the NFC South right now is just absolutely ripping each other apart. So Tom and I were curious because we were talking about it before the show came on. Who's got the better uniforms, type B for the Buccaneers or type F for the Falcons? Tom, honestly, I don't really like either of them all that much, but I will type my B for Buccaneers because I like is that a gold? Is it a dark brown jersey for the Bucs? That's the one I like.
It's pewter, Mitch. It's pewter.
What?
Pewter. Pewter. Learn your colors, dude. Come on.
I don't think that's a real color.
It absolutely is. I'll have you Google it after today's show. I'm going with the Bucs too. It's kind of a return to normalcy for Tampa Bay. I didn't like their newer jerseys. I think this one, though, especially that red top, looks a whole lot better. But they are cowards for not going with creamsicle alternates.
The last story here on NFL Daily is around Kirkpatrick, who was released by the Cincinnati Bengals last week. And now there are reports that the Vikings, they are interested in signing the 30-year-old who, as you can see the note there, is still a starting caliber cornerback.
I think he's more of a number 2, maybe, starting caliber cornerback, certainly not a number 1. But I do think Minnesota makes a lot of sense for Kirkpatrick, namely because head coach Mike Zimmer was the Bengals defensive coordinator way back in 2012 when Kirkpatrick was taken by the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Kirkpatrick has regressed, and you can pretty clearly see it in his just production totals as well, even though it's not always the best indicator, but it's accurate in this case. But Minnesota, Mitch, they don't have a whole lot going on at corner. They certainly need one, huh?
Totally agree with that. So before, Tom, we were trying to think of how he would be able to fit with Minnesota. I think he instantly inserts himself there over Hill. Heck, he might even be better than Hughes. You can make an argument with that with me. But, you got Harrison Smith. You have Anthony Harris. I think you have a pretty solid defense there for the Vikings if you can add Kirkpatrick. But without Kirkpatrick, it's ugly. And I think if this Vikings team does want to win football games, you got to go out and get more players.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an area of need for them. Holton Hill's a great player when he's not suspended. So
here are the top 5 teams for Kirkpatrick. You got the Vikings there. You got the Raiders. The Cowboys, I think, could still be in the market there for a cornerback. The Atlanta Falcons, the 49ers. But as Tom mentioned before, you're going to make Kirkpatrick your cornerback 2. You can't make him your cornerback 1. Not at this point in his career. Not with him coming off the injuries that he came off of. Tom, I know you don't like the Cowboys. out of the teams that you see here, who do you think is the most likely to go get Kirkpatrick?
I think it's Minnesota. They need bodies and depth, and at minimum, Kirkpatrick can be that. Worst case, he's a really good number 4 corner for you, even at his advanced age. So I think from that perspective, Minnesota jumps out to me as the top fit for Dre Kirkpatrick.
I think it's Vikings 1, and I think it's a very close second with the Las Vegas Raiders there at 2. He does have a lot of connections with Paul Guenther, who is now the DC, or has been the DC for the Raiders. So where will Dre Kirkpatrick play next season? Throw it down there in the comments section. And if you made it this far in the video, that means that you like what we're doing here at Chat Sports. So make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the notifications so you know every single time that we go live. So Tom, where will Dre Kirkpatrick play next season?
I'll shoot my shot and say the Vikings.
I'm going to be different, and I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders.